My name is Donnie Lowy from Closeout Hope you're doing well today. Today I'd like to discuss with you how you can become a wholesale importer. So as you know, an importer brings merchandise from outside the country where he or she is doing business in, and then they sell those items on a wholesale basis. Now, to become a wholesale importer, so first there might be regulations that you have to abide by, so definitely look into those regulations. I can't give you advice on regulations, but you do need to be aware of them, so consult with a professional that could help you. Now, on the wholesale level, that I could give you advice. Now, if you're going to be selling the merchandise that you import on a wholesale basis, then that means that you're going to be selling that merchandise to stores that need to resell that merchandise. So whatever you bring into your market, you need to make sure that the retailers can buy it from you at a low enough price so that they can resell it at a profit. Now, I know that might sound obvious, but what happens sometimes is people get very excited because they see an item and they say, look, the full retail price of that item is $100, and they're going to bring it in at $50, right? They'll import it, and after all their costs, the cost of the merchandise, cost of the shipping, cost of clearing the goods, if there's any custom fees, custom duties, right, they might pay $60 for that item. So they'll say, great, they'll sell it to the retailers for $80, and the retailer could sell it for $100. But the retailers might want to only buy items which they could work on at a minimum of 100% profit margin. If that's the case, you need to bring in items that you can wholesale at $50. But if your import costs for that item add up to a total wholesale cost of $60 for that item, you're not going to be able to do that. So that's the first thing. Now, another very practical thing is that you have to go out to the marketplace and see what are those items actually being sold for. The reason why that's important is because you might bring in an item which has an original retail value of $100, but if in your marketplace all the retailers are selling that item for an average price of $80, then the actual retail selling price of that item in your marketplace is going to be $80. So now you're going to have to sell it to those retailers at $40 so they can enjoy a 100% profit margin. Now, a 50, right? So they could double their money on it. So 100% markup, a 50% profit margin. So if you can do that based on your cost for the items, that's fine. But you have to have those figures in mind. Now, what I would suggest is before you import any items, you need to be aware of the marketplace and see if there's a demand for those items. I want to tell you something. As a closeout buyer myself, one of the ways that I get really good closeout deals is when importers bring in merchandise to the marketplace and they cannot sell those items because they miscalculated the wholesale demand, the wholesale price they could sell it at. They overpaid for it and now they just can't sell it. Or they brought an item into the marketplace and the popularity isn't that big for that item, so I buy it and then I try to sell it to another marketplace where there's still a big demand and that item is very popular. So you need to make sure that there's a big demand and there's a lot of popularity for the items that you're importing. What I would suggest to you is go out to the retailers, try to pre-sell the item. Try to actually get firm commitments. Let's say you're importing dresses and you want to sell them on a wholesale basis, then go out to retailers in your marketplace, show them the kind of dresses you're going to get. Either if you have samples, show them the samples, show them pictures, tell them what it is you have available, and try to make a deal with them. And if you see that there are retailers who commit to buying from you, if they're retailers who are actually willing to pay you money for those dresses, then you know that you have a good market for those dresses. Now, let's say retailers tell you, look, they're interested in those dresses, but they don't want to pay for the dresses until you actually bring them into the marketplace. So that's fair because they want to protect themselves, right? They want to make sure that they're paying for something that they want to, that they like, that they're going to be able to resell. But you still need to get very firm commitments and try to see if they'll give you a deposit. I think in business, you could definitely meet people halfway. That's the best way to do business. So as a wholesale importer, establish that you have a market for the items, establish that you have customers for the items, establish that you can resell those items at a wholesale price that will allow you to make a profit. All right, my website is closeoutexplosion.com. Thank you and have a great day.